Yeah, just tossing back the clockwork, tossing back Queen of Pain after the initiation. It's gonna be a bit tricky for
Ten
iG.V
seconds
to
remaining.
find the openings they want in these fights. With that disruptor in
Five
play, of course,
seconds
we
remaining.
have seen games where if your disruptor is always focused down, then all he really does is toss
Radiant
Static
team
Storm and kind
dash.
of die. So it is a bit of a toss-up for CDEC. iG.V do pick up the Terrorblade, so they've got a bit of a faster pace here. You will have to time yourself around the
Dire team
metamorphoses,
ban.
which is something we talk about a lot when the TB's out. You are constrained to that timer on the hero, and whenever it's down, you just can't expect as much coming out here for the TB. So it's an interesting pickup for iG.V if they can get a really fast start with the Terrorblade, get level
Ten
6
seconds
under Shadow
remaining.
Shaman quick. They can find some pretty fast objectives in this
Five
game.
seconds
Well, I wonder
remaining.
whether they'll play it like the way we've been seeing God King from SAG play it, where he just kind of farms up for the first 25-30 minutes. He won't even join a team fight unless it's right next to him and
Radiant
he has the
team ban.
metamorphosis up. But he'll just literally farm the whole time, and when he's ready, he'll come out and he'll just, start joining those team fights, start demolishing heroes. I'm intrigued to see how iG.V want to run this game around. It could be very hard though for
Ten
them. Like this
seconds
draft from
remaining.
CDEC it's a pretty global draft with that Nyx Assassin
5
Nature's
seconds
Prophet already,
remaining.
so you can be rather susceptible to dying with this Terrorblade if you are caught out farming that jungle just by yourself. I'm sure iG.V have thought about this though, already seeing the Nyx Assassin as that first pick. I suppose only time's going to tell what happens there.
Yeah, it's
Dire team
gonna be
ban.
interesting to see just how far iG.V can push that here. You do see the Ursa ban out from iG.V, so not giving that option towards CDEC. Really solid core that we've seen a lot of teams really prioritize and would have fit nicely in CDEC's draft. You know, the timing's great. It deals with the Terrorblade pretty
10
nicely.
seconds remaining.
Doesn't care too much about the clockwork once you've got certain items up
5
and running.
seconds
Even the Shadow
remaining.
Shaman doesn't do too much once you have a BKB. So just a great ban out from iG.V. CDEC, though, they do have last pick. So you're going to have to show your hand here, iG.V, before CDEC does close out their draft.
It's going to be a rough one to go for. I mean, right now they're just lacking what seems to be an offlane hero for iG.V. Could go for another mid pickup and run the offlane Quap instead. That's kind of more doubtful. So you never really know up against that Viper who you do want to run. CDEC. They're taking quite a bit of time here for that last banner, but we are still looking for that offlane hero, so it shouldn't be
Radiant
too
team.
confusing. They'll get rid of the LC, so just not wanting that purge available for iG.V. Now, this final pickup, I wonder what kind of offlane they want.
Yeah, I mean, they still have that flexibility with a Quap if they wanted to
10
just toss that
seconds
there, or even a
remaining.
Clockwork Core if they are closing out that like that. But it
Dire
does look like they
team
need a
ban.
little bit more control to tie it up, and they do go with a Pango. So they've got really decent team fight here. Not the best in terms of big AoE control, but if you have your Clock and Shadow Shaman focused on the right targets, the Pango can make use of that hold and really apply a lot more damage. So it's tied in quite
10
nicely
seconds
for
remaining.
iG.V. They've got some decent tempo here. It's really just down to the
5
Terrorblade to
seconds
farm
remaining.
up. But we saw iG.V stay disciplined like that in the last game. They just let Doodle have all the space in the world, played as 4, and once Doodle had certain items up, he started joining in. Should expect that same tempo from iG.V, except less constrained by cooldowns and
Triple kill.
CDAC. They close out with the Void. Really, really strong combinations with the Viper, with the Disruptor. They are also tied into that Chronosphere timing, but I don't think it's as farm constrained as a TB. Like a TB definitely needs items. In this case, CDEC, as long as Ame has Chrono and XM and Victoria are around, you're going to find kills every single time you use that spell.
Yeah, I think the Void pickup was quite a strong one there from CDEC, and when you've got this many heroes that can just stand outside that Chrono and just hit away with no real care in the world about what's going on around them, it's going to be quite a nice feeling here for CDEC. See how it all pans out. CDEC, they are one game away from winning out this best of 3 series, and well, IG Vitality going to be trying to force this to a game number 3 if they can afford to. See how they play this one out. It seems like it's going to be a very important game here on the Queen of Pain to really try and set a pace here so that Doodle does have that free space on the Terrorblade this game. He's going to need it so much more than the PA game this time around, so see if Butterfly Effect can just overcome the XM Viper in that mid lane first and go from there.
Yeah, it's been a tricky set of games for iG.V. Like, even that game 1 matchup with the DP Razor was kind of just as bad for Butterfly Effect, so let's see if he can handle it this time around. I mean, it's just not had decent matchups. It's always been something that's just completely cancerous to lane against.
We'll get into a game number 2. Should be a fun one. iG.V, again, I'm quite intrigued to see how they run this Terrorblade, mostly from Doodle here. I'm sure he will be, of course, prioritizing farm the most out of anything else on this Terrorblade, but whether he does bother joining his team with that meta, or whether he just uses it to just farm up and stay relaxed in his own jungle, I mean, you can definitely agree that there's much more space in your own jungle now that you can't really take the outpost away until you've got a tier 2 tower. So that you'd argue that it is much safer for these position 1s to be able to farm up. Of course, CDEC could invade that jungle with the Nyx Assassin, which is where the problems can start, but it's just a matter of whether they can keep the Nyx Assassin back.
Yeah, I think CDEC just has a lot of rotating potential, not just with Nyx, but you mentioned it a while ago, the NP's got a lot of presence there as well. So you will have to be just a bit more cautious in how deep in the jungle iG.V wants to toss Doodle in. And CDEC, they have to maintain that pressure. You can't really allow a Terrorblade to find that free farm in this game.
Top lane, could be a bit of action. Arme there with Victoria. Just running hot chilies around, nothing too serious going on here quite yet. They are falling a bit lower though on iG.V. Does still have to be a little cautious as Arme. He does go for that level 1 bash. Meanwhile, Victoria has been chased down now by QYQX and Nevermind, and with that battery assault, it will be enough to set up Nevermind. We'll be able to get first blood again this game. It's going to be another nice start here for iG.V.
Yeah, they get themselves a good little pickup for that, so they can start breaking up that tri-lane. You see QYQX TP down bond. They do lose out on one of the bounty runes though, so that's a trade-off CDEC should be fairly happy with. I mean, they get a lot more gold for their entire team in that case, and gives a nice little boon down mid where XM can really just start to apply that early pressure onto Butterfly Effect.
That he will. He does go for the corrosive skin first though. Just wanting to make it much harder for Butterfly to trade harass here with this Viper. He's going to have a think every single time he wants to throw a spell out, and you see Butterfly Effect as well. He does go for a separate kind of skill build where he'll prioritize the Scream, understanding that the Shadow Poison won't be any good here up against this Viper. That is definitely the way to play it. So you can rotate to the jungle later on and just secure farm that way with that maxed out Scream. So XM, now with the poison attack, of course, going to start applying a lot more pressure into Butterfly, and you'll have to definitely think about how much of these he's taken, because it does stack up. It's probably going to be a lot of regen being burnt through here for this Quap.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to maintain, but you do have a slight advantage in those first few waves for Butterfly Effect, so should try to maybe look into that jungle. The side camp is a bit easier to take, of course, with a shake-up in the layout, so you can kind of just dip in there with your blink. It's one of the boons of the Queen of Pain. You have a lot more mobility than Viper does.
Top lane, Dust going to be there with Nevermind. They'll be up against Arme and, of course, Victoria. And well, so far, Arme is going to have a decent time in that Void. He's just farming underneath his tier 1 tower. Nevermind and Dust shouldn't really be able to do too much to slow him down, as mid lane, XM, he does secure a kill there onto the Quap. I didn't quite think it was going to come out that early, but with the level 2 poison attack now, XM has so much more damage, and well, it looks like Butterfly Effect went through a lot of regen trying to survive through that, and it did not work out.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky now, just being behind like this. Like, you had that early spike earlier on, but now I think Butterfly Effect, you have to start considering that jungle between waves. because you are not trading favorably here.
XM's just giving it to him. Does have a salve, he'll commit it, but he just TP'd back to the lane. Top lane, however, Arme, time walks out just in the nick of time. Never mind, unable to get the last hit off, but he'll go after Victoria instead, and he doesn't have Swashbuckle yet, so Fairy Fire will be there from Victoria. Now the time lock's coming up from Arme, but eventually they do get one kill.
Ooh.
Dust, however, taking too much tower aggro, and he will die.
Yeah, that's a really good glimpse back coming out from Victoria just to find that counter kill. And in the end, I mean, Ame's pretty safe. He just manages to force out a lot of harassment. He still finds the last hits under tower. The Void is 18-3. It's a really solid start here for Ame.
James mid lane. It's rotated in the Nyx Assassin now. He's not really going to be able to do much here, but he is zoning out Butterfly Effect quite nicely. Now, Impale going to be there. Dust in trouble. Poison attacks coming out from XM, but he can't follow up as Butterfly Effect is zoning the Viper out now. But I mean, this is just a free lane for this Viper. Butterfly is still doing a decent job of remaining in the lane, but now bot lane, Doodle does get SRF on the Nature's Prophet.
Okay, that was a lane freed up by James' rotation, so nice pickup from iG.V to punish that isolation, and that does give Doodle a bit of an injection. You know, he's not doing too bad in terms of last hits, 16, 17-7. Not as free as Ame's farm, but it's still looking pretty darn good, and knowing that James isn't hanging around the lane too much should give Doodle a bit more leeway to play aggressive and find more farm in this lane.
Never mind, he's taking a lot of harassment up at the top lane. He has to be a bit wary of that. Victoria going to continue chasing him down. Nice glimpse back as well through the Swashbuckle. He just waited for that perfect timing. He does get it off, and Ame going to be able to secure his first kill of the game on the Void. Meanwhile, mid lane, James, again still rotating around up against Butterfly Effect. Won't quite find an angle, but does help get an Observer Ward, and Butterfly just realizes he is getting nothing out of this lane.
Yeah, it's off to the jungle to try to stack up, to pick it up later down the line, but this is a really slow start for Queen of Pain. Still level 4 compared to our Viper at 5-6 very soon. That's a major spike that the Quap just can't keep up with from this Viper.
She can blink away, but that's really it. So she is literally going to sit here taking stacks for now. Top lane, never mind, again going to be in a bit of danger here. Victoria won't really have the glimpse yet. Dust, he's just going to throw out an Aether Shock. Be fine. But the mid and top lane both being won so far by CDEC. The only lane really going the way of iG.V is the bot lane, where Doodle is still farming nicely on that Terrorblade. Then again, SRF isn't really being shut down too hard on that Nature's Prophet. I mean, he had that one death and his CS isn't that high, but again, it is a Nature's Prophet. He can be effective no matter what. Just with the ability to rotate. And top lane, Dust. An awkward position there. James did make a rotation up as the Nyx Assassin and does help set up the kill.
Yeah, CDEC is finding really everything from these rotations. The only thing that they're kind of missing out on is EXP for James. He's only found out 1 kill, so he has just been starved with all of these movements, and you really need that Nyx to hit the level 6 at a good time. So we'll see just how much James does get to maybe find his own levels and growth here as level 3 Nyx at this point. I mean, it's still effective, but you'd want at least a point in the Spike Carapace to really start setting up on more kills.
Oh, but poor old Butterfly. It's a real awkward position as that Quap right now. And I guess once you have the level 6, you can actually make a rotation or two, but still very hard. As top lane, Chrono going to be committed there from Arme. Never mind. He's dead. Just too easy there from Victoria and Arme, just with that first Chrono of the game as well. And mid lane, are they setting up again? Looks like they're trying to. Butterfly will be alright, but QY may not be. James going to spot him out now, and there is no way out of this. Or maybe there is if you miss the Impale there. But no, with the poison attack stacking, XM does get the kill. That's going to be the second kill for the Viper. It's just back into the mid lane, rinse and repeat for this Viper. He'll just keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, and this is shutting down Butterfly Effect really hard. We talked about it in the draft, but the Queen of Pain needed to be that tempo setter in this game to buy space for Doodle, but
Maybe
they're
now.
just not in the position to.
Shackle, XM, he's going to be cancelled off, and yeah, no, this Shaman's dead. They're going to try and contest this. QY going to get the cogs off. That does at least drain the mana of XM, and now the Sonic Wave going to be decent. QY, though, he can't really finish this off. Kinetic Field going to be dropped. Salve taken by XM, and that's going to make sure he survives, and he gets a double. And it seemed pretty darn decent after the Sonic Wave, but you just didn't have any follow-up damage afterwards.
Oh yeah, it's getting a bit messy here for iG.V. They're just not finding the successful rotations they'd want, and that mid lane's just under constant pressure. They just cannot target XM at this point. He's too tanky, he has too much damage. You're better off maybe applying pressure towards Ame, or even just hunting the NP down, but SRF's not worth too much gold, so your best bet would be the Void. Except, Ame's a few levels ahead of Nevermind, and you do have the Rolling Thunder available, but you don't really have the space to rotate anyone else up here to help out.
I don't think you could even kill him right now without the levels on the quad. Like, Butterfly Effect's going to need that Sonic Wave anyway to have the damage output, because he's just going to be able to time walk out of there. Mid lane, QY going to get chased down here from XM. He's dead. Poison attack and another Toxin both there. It's another easy kill for XM, and yeah, he can just slowly start chipping away at this tier 1 tower. Nobody's going to stop him. Top lane as well, Dust will end up dying as SRF helps out with the rotation there on the Prophet, and he'll just TP straight back down to the bot lane to help defend up against Doodle's Terrorblade. But they're just dancing circles around the side of iG.V right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's a 2k advantage for CDEC, 3-10 in the kill board. In iG.V, they're just not finding too much room here. They're just constantly throwing bodies down mid. They're trying to get Butterfly Effect to farm that jungle, but James is always there to try to punish, although...
XM could be in trouble, but they're going to go after that Nyx Assassin first, and that should be an easy kill to James. He misses the Impale as well. He'll turn around with the Spike Carapace, but that'll be it. And that was 4 heroes rotating for that position for Nyx. I believe they really wanted XM on that Viper, but he just manages to walk out of there safely.
Yeah, they just don't have enough to answer XM. I mean, a kill's a kill. iG.V's gonna take what they can get, but that freed up space up top for Ame to just keep farming up. He's level 9 now, compared to Nevermind at 6. It's just a big disparity between these two heroes in this lane. You just cannot match up anymore.
It's not even in just that lane. Butterfly Effect's level 7. So he's out leveling the solo mid from iG.V. Ame, he has the Chrono back up now with the Mask of Madness as well. So it's a very dangerous predicament that you're in if you're iG.V, because if he catches out that Quap with Chrono, the likelihood is he will be able to get the job done. They are going to rotate up though. Butterfly Effect, he has a double damage rune. Still Ame looking for an angle. Does get swashbuckled up. Never mind, Chrono being committed. Ame's tired of the games with this Rolling Thunder. He'll get Dust, and now the Static Storm being dropped as well, though Ame, low but not low enough. They couldn't quite finish him off, and now Butterfly will be forced to just blink out of there. And they just don't have the damage output for this Void.
No, and that was really perfect timing from Victoria as well, just having the Static Storm to pop in there and just getting the additional control. It's that combination we talked about from draft. And as long as these spells are up, you cannot fight into this combo from CDEC.
They're going to rotate back up towards that top lane, iG.V. 4 heroes up there now. With the Chrono being down, it seems as though they just want to try and get that tier 1 tower, and Doodle's going to be there as well. Ame's still going to pull the creep wave away, but they're going to commit the Serpent Wards with the Metamorphosis. That'll definitely be a tier 1 tower going down. Thing is though, that mid lane, the tier 1 did also go down to XM, and of course the bot lane now is going to be forced in by the side of CDEC. It seems though CDEC is still going to be rather happy with this kind of trade, considering you saw the meta and the wards being dropped. Ame, he doesn't have the Chrono anyway, so there's no real reason to be upset about that from his side of things. He'll just wait out the next Chrono. You know the meta's not going to be up when you want to commit.
Yeah, it's a pretty big window for CDEC to just play around.
Top lane.
You trap up.
Yeah, James got the spike carapace off. He's onto that shaman, and there's just no way to survive up against that Viper. And now XM, he'll go after that clockwork, gets QY first. Never mind, Viper striked up now. It's going to be very hard to get out of this. He'll swashbuckle away, but there's no way out. He is gone. And XM, he's got the Orchid up already on this Viper.
Whew, that's a sub 13-minute Orchid on XM. Just so much damage and control coming out. I can understand why iG.V felt like they needed to play in that area. You know, it's not safe down bot. They knew where everyone was, but they don't have control here. Like, again, that outpost is still up and running because you can't take it until the tier 2s are gone. So even if you're forced to play up top, it's really not a safe alternative to your jungle anymore, as long as these objectives are still up and running, which limits the room for iG.V.
Yeah, QY is dead as well now. Silence out. It's going to be plenty of damage. XM will secure another kill for the team, and Dust barely avoiding the kinetic field there from Victoria. But they've got the Chrono up, so they want to go for a very, very early tier 2 tower push. And well, there's going to be a glimpse back. Dust does get the Hex off, but it's not going to be enough. It seems like they're just going to chase him down. The Shackles will be there as well, but they even pop the Glyph for that, just to see if they can get enough damage out. Just doesn't end up saving that Shaman, and now James hunting down Butterfly Effect. He really shouldn't have the damage by himself,
Radiant are scanning.
but he's just going to keep Vision on the side of iG.V. And with that Vision, they should know that they can freely take this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, they don't even commit too many heroes for this push. They just leave Ame to get the job done. You're trying to hunt up top, never mind. He's all alone.
We'll impale him up. Hookshot in though from QY. Does help out and is trying to secure the life of the Pangolier, but QY will die. It's, I mean, you've got to save your core somehow, but it's kind of like just delaying the inevitable, it seems like. As CDEC's net worth just continuously increases, while they're getting slowly closer with that farm on Doodle. It just doesn't seem to be anywhere near enough yet, as Chrono down at the bot lane, they will get the kill on Butterfly Effect now.
They're just finding way too much, CDEC. iG.V, I mean, you mentioned Doodle's farm, and yeah, it's going quite well. That's only one hero. You look at Butterfly Effect's farm, 4.8k. Way behind even SRF, and then you look at Nevermind, barely above the support on James. Like, this is not the progression you're looking for from iG.V's draft to play around at Terrorblade. It's just not the farm spread you're looking for, and that's going to cost them. Now, they do smoke up with his Manta pickup and Doodle. Whether or not that's enough, though, we'll find out soon.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. Doodle. James might just break the smoke. They may have no choice but to go after it. Hookshot misses on XM as well, and now QY has been scouted out, so James commits with the Vendetta Impale, and now here comes Ame. You don't have the Chrono for this fight, but you can easily kill off the Pos 5 Clockwork. In fact, that Static Storm is doing a lot of damage to Nevermind as well. And even the Nature's Wrath just flying through, and Doodle, he's been glimpsed back, but he does get a great Manta off to dodge it out. They give him the tip for that even, XM, respecting the play made from that Terrorblade.
Yeah, it's a decent save. They only lose the Clockwork for all their trouble, but that was the Metamorphosis popped out from Doodle. CDEC, I mean, by the time they've got Chrono up, there's a window where Metamorphosis isn't up once again. And that should give them an opportunity to just fight into it. Even the Static Storm is a fairly short cooldown in comparison to the meta, so CDEC, they just need to wait a few moments. They could try to force a fight out again if they wanted to.
Oh, XM just finds Dust. There is going to be help around the corner. Hookshot in. QY trying to set up. Glimpse back straight away from Victoria. This Disruptor pick has been a real problem for IG Vitality. They just can't get enough heroes around XM to actually do anything to this Viper. It's getting very close to that Hurricane Pike as well, so usually Vipers drop off, but if he's going to get this much farm, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they maintain a lot of presence with a hero. They get a tier 2 down bot, knowing the majority of iG.V is up top. So there's not even a trade that can come out here for iG.V. They're just slowly losing control on the map, and of course that does open the outpost.
Yeah, QY dies as well.
Oh,
Get caught out, and now Doodle, Static Storm, perfect from Victoria. He tries the Manta, but it does nothing. Now they will go straight after that Shaman, and he tries to TP their Dust, but it will also do nothing. They just have so much damage output right now on this Viper, and even SRF on that Nature's Prophet. And to make matters worse, mid lane, you might lose Butterfly Effect. He does blink away. Arme has the Sergeant Yasha up on that Void, so he has plenty more DPS. You get the Quap out, but it's almost like her timing's just kind of void now. As Chrono's up, he might go for this. Yules is out from Butterfly, he'll just blink out. Never mind. He'll walk out of there as well. Everyone just avoiding Arme to the best of their ability.
Yeah, it's a decent dodge out, but they lose out in that tier 1 top tower, so more gold going the way of CDEC, although...
Mid lane, hookshot gonna be there on James. He got the Spy Carapace off, and now look for the Impel. Oh. What a chrono! He caught 3 of them in there. QY's out of it, but who cares about that? They got Butterfly Effect. He does use off the silence. QY now will also go down to Arme. Doodle trying to fight back with that meta. Time walks it off. The Sonic Wave wasn't there in time, and now the Viper Strike is there on that Terrorblade. XM, however, taking a lot of damage. SRF turns around with the Sprout. Sunder out onto QY. They did get Nevermind on that Pangolier. Now Arme gets another. QY dying back. An Ultra Kill out for Arme. Can he get a Rampage? He can! Arme does get it. Oh, and Arme is just out of control now. 8-0 with 5 assists on that Void. And how many diebacks was that? It was 1. So it's a real problem here for CDEC. I mean, rather IG Vitality. They've got no gold going for them. They're 14k net worth behind.
No, they've channeled it all into Doodle, and Doodle just cannot stand there and fight. He's saving up for the BKB. That's going to help massively. But that won't help him right now, as the Roche is being taken for free by CDEC.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Time is money.
Maelstrom now up on Arme. So he's got even more damage coming out. The Mjolnir to be finished up next on this Faceless Void.
It's tricky. I think right now iG.V, they need the blink up on their Shaman. Just have Dust be able to get control on a single hero. He's saving up for the Aether Lens first, but you're really gonna need the blink to gap close. If you can catch out, say, XM before you cast any spells, you might have an opening there, but before that, it's really tricky to get that farm distribution even.
Dust.
It's just gonna be tricky.
Bot lane, James looking to set up there onto Doodle. Doodle trying to make a run for it, but James is right behind him. They're just waiting for more teammates to be nearby, and now with the Impel Meteor Hammer flying through, they don't even need the Chrono. Arme will get another kill onto that Terrorblade, and Dust, well, he thought he may escape, but that is not going to be the case. He will also die. Well, now, you kind of think how far the side of CDEC want to push this lane in. They could try for high ground with that Chrono Aegis. They could also decide to just play it safe. I wonder what they do decide on.
Yeah, I think they should just go straight in. I mean, that's 4-30 at 21 minutes in. It's an 18k advantage. It's a lot for iG.V to try to work against, and yeah, they just jump in.
It's just Arme though. You got the AC coming out onto SRF, so the Prophet going to be adding a lot more attack speed here for the side of CDEC, and now Chrono does catch 2 of them. Arme just going to clean him up. Gets a double kill there on the Void. Hookshot in from QY. It is going to be onto SRF, but what a great sprout from SRF. He pushes himself out of the cogs. Oh, I haven't seen that one before. And CDEC just continue to put a clinic on the side of iG.V.
Yeah, they're just chipping away slowly but surely at iG.V, and with these kinds of movements, they're just forced to focus away from farming. And CDEC, yeah, sure, they don't have Chrono for 2 minutes, but the Aegis is gonna last until that point. And again, they've been finding these key kills, and oh, Ame still on the hunt.
Why not? He's just got damage without the Chrono. He doesn't seem to need it, and Doodle has to be careful. Time Walk is there. And a reflection, and that should be enough to force Ame back. In fact, it's a lot of damage out. Doodle now with the Manta as well. However, bot lane, James, trying to go on the Shaman by himself. Misses the Impale, however, and now the Sonic Wave will be there. SRF does get the trade. And now Butterfly Effect just going to blink forward and try to get that creep wave out of their way. However, maybe not. Just jump back onto SRF. He goes for the immediate TP play. However, Rolling Thunder's going to cancel. And with that, it'll be 2 kills going to the way of iG.V. It wasn't too bad of a couple pickups there for this Radiant side.
Yeah, that's a massive kill on SRF. That's a 10 streak going away there onto Butterfly Effect. So you're seeing a nice boon for our Quap. That is going to be the Ags in short order. And that does give you a lot more presence, a lot more tempo on that Queen of Pain with a shorter cooldown. So you've got that going now for you, iG.V. A nice pickup. You've got to be careful, CDEC, with bleeding these big heroes off. And there's a lot of potential for bouncing back in with the reworked calculations in gold from streaks.
Bot lane, Dust could be an easy target. Victoria, of course, just going to get the glimpse off, and he won't waste any time. Static Storm, just to make sure he doesn't play any games here with Ame. Poor old Dust on the Shaman has had a very rough game. That's his 13th death of the game. XM trying to chase down Nevermind on that Pangolier. He'll go for an immediate TP. James, can he get the stun off in time? Oh. No, he uses himself rather than the Pangolier. Doesn't matter though. Into that tier 2 mid tower. Be a very quick and easy one for CDEC to take. And they might go for more now, top lane. No, nobody there to take. Back to farming.
Yeah, it's again, they've got all the things in the world they'd want. All they need to do is stick as 5. You do see Doodle trying to split push, but SRF is around to counteract that, so you're not going to find too much progression there. That is the BKB and the Terrorblade, though. So you do have a lot more presence in these fights. iG.V just has to play around the Metamorphosis really well. If they don't, then the hero really just falls apart.
Problem is, though, that Chrono is not going to care for that BKB. Like, you might cancel off some of that Maelstrom damage that comes in if you do pop the BKB prior to the Chrono, but you get caught in that Chrono, you're just dead. So, iG.V, they'll just have a think about it. They will back off, and now a smoke coming up from CDEC. QY. Smoke will be broken. Ame just going to time walk up the high ground, and QY, no way out of that. Just way too much damage out. He does die, and CDEC will take back control of this Radiant jungle. And poor old Doodle, he's just going to find another safe place to try and farm in, but there aren't many left.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah,
under
he's just been kind of cutting waves, trying to clear out that dire triangle instead to give himself some space, but it's not fast enough, and Dust again.
Yeah, I mean, he can't really escape this. He tries for the TP, but the Impel is out from James.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's going to make it a 6-36 now, but that 21k net worth lead really tells you the story of this game number 2. They are still playing the split push game the best they possibly can. Definitely has gotten a lot easier with that Quack Aghanims up. But you look at Ame and his progression. Once he has that Satanic up, you kind of question how much further iG.V can take this draft. Even the Shiver's Guard now on the Viper, with the recent changes, make it that much stronger.
Yeah, it's just so hard to fight into, and oh, Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, he's just dead. Chrono committed. It's Not even close to getting out.
You're not in it.
He needed half the duration of that chrono to take the Quap out.
Whew, it's tricky for iG.V. I mean, they're trying their best, but 6 to 37, 22k lead, and they're still out hunting for more. The Roche will find out in about 20 seconds when it will be up, and that's probably where CDEC will set their sights to next, just to find that easy objective and start onto the high ground once more.
Glimpse going to be there on Dust. Shaman gone. They're going to slowly chip away at that mid-tier 3 tower now. XM going to be there with SRF, and they actually do it really darn quick. SRF again hitting like a truck on that Prophet. That's that tier 3 gone. Just slowly chipping away at that Rats. Arme's going to come in now as well, so you've got so much more damage. They don't even need him. He doesn't even get one swing in. He'll go up towards that top lane though, and that will definitely help CDEC's cause in forcing his top racks down. Still, they must be aware that Chrono is not available on CDEC, so it's one of their best chances to try and fight this, but at the same time, even without that Chrono being 25k net worth behind, it's hard to see how you fight.
Yeah, it's really difficult, and this is really bad for iG.V. The Roche timer, really short. It's already up. That's something CDEC could just dip into to really secure their high ground push, and they will find it.
Not with that rocket flare. It's going to be scouted out. They definitely have a lot of Aegis still potential. CDEC. Well, hook shot in from QY. Does get onto that Nyx Assassin. Does dust him up as well. James just going to be left to die. They get the Rolling Thunder there on XM, perhaps. They do, but he's underneath this tier 1 tower, and James will buy it back. They are not willing to give this Roshan away to iG.V. And so iG.V. do get themselves a nice buyback out of that Nyx Assassin. But they are still stuck here for this Roshan.
Yeah, and without the Serpent Wards from Dust, it is a bit trickier to just commit there. They also did use out the Metamorphosis, so the duration in that spell, also not as long as you'd want it to be.
Onto that Roshan again, Arme. Has the Chrono up now, feeling very confident with himself. Yules going to be out from James. No, he missed the Impale there on Nevermind. Arme back to that Roshan pit. Dust going to throw his body at it, but no, Aegis is already there. Onto Arme, and they spotted out that Shaman, and they want the kill. And so Victoria, he does get hexed up, but Dust, he knows he's dead. Just tries to buy as much time as possible. In fact, Nevermind. Trapped onto the cliff there, does use the Rolling Thunder to try and escape, and he'll be right, he does get out of there.
Yeah, it's still a really big win for CDEC. I mean, Aegis and Cheese now onto their heroes. You've got the Satanic as well on Ame, so there's really nothing to be scared of as he does rush into the top tier 3 once more.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Time walk. Never mind. Go after the racks. Sonic Wave going to be there, although Chrono straight out from Arme. He caught 2 again. There goes the Quap. She'll buy it back. In fact, it was 3 she caught out. That'll be 3 going down. And now it might be 4. QY getting caught out there by Arme. Doodle just trying to make a run for it. This man is on a massacre. He will be able to escape just barely. Now with the Sunder out, they can take down the Aegis, and they do. But that Cogs trapping up QY means he is going to die back.
Oh boy, it's a tough spot now. Like, you don't have enough in the Terrorblade to really hold out. They will have Meta in 5 seconds. They could go for a last-ditch fight.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
We'll go for the tier 4 towers.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Back to Arme. We'll finish off that Raindrax up at that top lane first. Glimpse going to be there on the TB with a great Impale out. Sonic Wave, though, is going to save from Butterfly, but no, he's trapped up. Doodle does die. Now they lose Dust as well, and the GG well played has been called. And CDEC very convincingly take this series 2-0 to start off their week. And iG.V just couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, it's a strong showing from CDEC. iG.V, they stay with no wins still. Really gonna have to start picking up that pace as they are yet again stuck at the bottom with 0-4 now. Not a single win even within the series. So as the weeks go on, of course, this is the halfway mark. iG.V has to start picking up, but CDEC, looking really great. Should start pulling up to perhaps even the #1 spot if they keep this performance up.
Yeah. Well, with that, we are going to go into a very intriguing series, the one I'm really looking forward to, and I'm sure the viewers are too. RNG are going to be versing SAG for our next best of 3. These two teams did play up against each other just a couple days ago, and it did favor SAG that time around. In fact, SAG ended up winning the whole tournament. We'll see if RNG now can get a bit of revenge here up against this side of Sparking Arrow Gaming. And well, it's MLP Dota on johnxfire. We'll be back very, very soon for that second game.